this computer.
Has
Great.
anybody here done our summer program before? Nobody. All right.
Well, great. All right. So I just pressed record.
Oh
So,
yeah. So a little hand. So I have a hand on Ava.
all right, Bob,
Did you do the summer program?
I'm going to mute you for a minute because I got to just start the opening here on the record. All right. So welcome to our virtual Q&A for summer camp, a summer virtual camp. What a concept. Who would have ever thought? But it is our new normal, our new world, and we're not afraid of virtual learning because we've been doing it for a while, and I've been doing it well before this pandemic. So, a lot of us who teach have been teaching remotely for a while because it is the only way we can reach kids outside of the city. But it's gotten more, I won't say more complicated. It's definitely gotten bigger. I've done mostly private coaching one-on-one, and now, of course, have had to create groups. And I have to say, I am very pleased with it, with how the whole process is working. And no, it is not a replacement for face-to-face work as artists. We need to be with each other and be in a room and connect. But there have been some beautiful things that have come out of the virtual learning. And the two things that I've really seen, and Guy, you can speak about this as well, is when we're working, especially for TV and film, this is the format and the medium that these guys are used to, a very close shot, the camera working closely with them. And the discipline of this repetition of doing the same thing every single day and getting really good at it. Their equipment is set up at home. And so the self-tapes have been really amazing. That's what I've seen happen throughout all of this. The other thing is this hyper-focus and discipline, because there's not a lot of ways to be distracted. And then, of course, Bob and I just had our big first virtual cabaret. And again, as long as the connection is good, the other beautiful thing that can happen out of it is that it reaches so many more people than we can reach just doing our show on a Sunday in Manhattan. Now anybody has access to watching the show. And so we've seen kids get a lot of attention from that as well. Look, I'm not going to say, we're going to go back to the world when it opens, but for now, the right thing to do and the safe thing to do for me as an educator, a mom, a human, is to work virtually right now until we really know what's going on. And we don't really have the luxury or time to wait another month and then say, okay, let's do a live camp, because we have to prepare. And I know, the camps that some of your kids may go to, the sleepaways have not, Cuomo has not weighed in yet. I think he's going to weigh in officially June 1st, but most of them have canceled at this point. So look, here's what I got. We've already, I put what I want to do on the website at this point, and we're going to just discuss it a little bit. I wanted you to meet some of the guest artists that I brought in. I've been doing teaching forever, sort of by myself. I know so many people, and we all have worked side by side. And now a lot of us are working together. I love the art of collaboration. I think there's so much power in it. And to be able to work with, these artists who I respect so much, and be able to bring them to your attention is another wonderful perk and beautiful thing. So let me introduce our guests. Then I'll open it up for some questions. I'll introduce our guests and our programming, allow you to ask some questions, and then I know some of our guests have to pop off, and I'll be able to answer the questions moving forward. So, so let's see. So you can unmute and say hello, I guess, when I say your name. There is Bob Marks. So Bob, you can unmute.
Hello, I'm Bob Marks, and Denise and I have been teaching classes together for almost 20 years. Proud to be here.
Yeah, and Bob and I have been teaching musical theater, audition technique, and cabaret performance for almost 20 years. It's quite something. So Bob and I have do a program called Bright Lights of Broadway for, I don't know, almost 10 years, I want to say, close to it at this point. And it's just a week in the city where we bring together, singing and acting with this very heavy component on the acting. It's the storytelling of the song, working on monologues as well. And we get the kids ready to do a cabaret performance at the end of the week. We see a Broadway show. We work with a Broadway cast, a cast member, which is why we have Michelle here, and we'll talk to her in a minute. We won't see a show this summer, but we will do everything else that we do, including having Michelle work with the kids with choreography. And we'll do our own show. We'll work with casting directors. So it's the same program It's just virtual. So let me introduce Michelle, Michelle Aravina, and I'll let you introduce yourself. Michelle has so many credits. I'm sure you've seen her. If you've gone to Broadway, you've seen her in Jersey Boys or Rocky or Chorus Line. And I work with her nephew, Jordan. They're a really talented family. And again, so honored that Michelle is around, because she's usually working. She's always on the road or in New York. It just finished Bronx Tale. So again, Michelle is going to be with us for Bright Lights of Broadway and also for the pre-college week. So Michelle, I'll let you say hello.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, and same. I'm so privileged to finally be working with Denise. I've only heard incredible things about her and her students and her teaching. I've been a professional musical theater performer for now over 30 years. So I started in the business at the same age as these kids are now. And my first professional show was about 9 years old. So I have a little experience with it. And I am going to be heading up the choreography department and really kind of focusing on, making these kids as comfortable as possible when they walk into an audition and they have to pick up a combination very quickly. They have to pick up the style that the choreographer is looking for. But on top of all of that, find ways that they can introduce a bit of themselves into it as well. So I'm excited to get started. I can't wait. I'm so passionate about kids in this business. As Denise said, I have a nephew that is thriving, and my sister owns a huge performing arts school. So we are surrounded by this, and we are incredibly passionate about teaching your kids.
Thank you. You know, as I'm introducing my friends, my colleagues, and I mean, I've known some of you forever, and Michelle recently, Jane recently, Shoshana recently, but Gaia and I've been working together. I guess I'm so proud that, these are veterans, guys. We've all been in the industry a very, very long time. I'm not, we're not collaborating with, young kids right out of college. I mean, these guys have been around this, they know their stuff. And so it just, I'm so excited. Okay, let me introduce Guy Chachkis, because I know he's got to hop off soon. Guy and I have partnered together with the Young Actors Film Experience, which became a company, an offshoot of his company, Real Arc. So I'm going to let you, Guy, speak for yourself.
Thank you. By the way, as I'm listening, this sounds like an entire film school or just an acting school, which is fantastic. So I'm part of the film extension of this amazing school camp. I started Real Arc about 5 years ago. We are the #1 scene creation company for actors in the United States. We've shot over 5,000 scenes currently between New York, LA, and some actually in the middle of the country on offshoots. I was also a young child actor in Israel. I've done a lot of theater there from a very young age all the way up to before the Army. And then I came here and started a film career, and Real Arc is really been a blast, and I'm really enjoying, helping actors get incredible footage. And part of this, part of the Young Actors Film Experience or our work with Denise, we were able to create some amazing footage for young actors. We have a lot of success stories with many young actors that come to us that continue on and book roles specifically because of the scenes that they produce with us. So I'm very excited to create this virtual class or help Denise with this virtual experience, and then culminated with the shoot on set in our studios.
So originally, before the pandemic, we had been holding weekend workshops and week-long workshops together. And we were about to launch a program in Orlando this June at Full Sail University on the back lot. And then we had to pull the plug on it. So we were also going to do our regular 2 weeks, which I know, Evan, you're on the line. You've done this. Ava, you've done the program. But Real Arc has now opened a studio in Brooklyn, so with 6 standing sets. And that's where the program was going to be. But because we have to do this virtually now, we're going to hold the in-class program virtually. And then you will have the option of going directly to Real Arc and booking your scene with them. They're very they've got a very big waiting list now. So if you do the program with me, you'll get, their writers will write the scene for you. And when you'll get a slot. I think we spoke about, late summer at this point. I think we're maybe August, at least getting an August spot or September spot to shoot. And then you'll see them will be produced by them. So that's how it's going to work for this summer right now until we're ready to open our doors again. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Okay,
We're
great.
excited for it.
Great. Let me introduce Jane and Shoshana, and then we'll start with our questions. And if you have any for the real arc and for Guy, we'll start with him first because he's got to go, and then Jane. So Jane Beller is an actress herself, an educator, and we recently connected. And again, we speak the same language, which is why it works for us. And Jane has been teaching voiceover classes. If some of you on the line have been, we just held 2, and we're up to our 3rd weekend. There's still a few spots left in Jane's voiceover workshop on May 31st. So you can go to my website and grab those last few spots. There's so much voiceover work right now, guys. And so, if your child is just entering that world, Jane is the gal to help you there. So she's going to be joining our industry week this summer with a voiceover workshop. So I'll let you say hi, Jane.
Indeed. Thank you, Denise. And hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. I just want to piggyback off of a couple of things. Denise, thank you for doing this virtual camp. I can't tell you how it worries me that everybody wants to open up too soon. So I'm so glad you're doing this. And so much of this can be done virtually for now. It's also just an interesting experiment. And then off of what Michelle said earlier, one of the main things with voiceovers is going into the room or going into your closet, as I tend to do these days, and really playing and having fun and being present and being ready to improvise and go to those auditions and really just show up, as they say. All those terms, they sound so cliche, but it's so true. And in voiceovers, one of the main things is that you have to say the words that are there, except for certain types of voiceovers, but it almost always sounds like an improv. And that's the same with any acting, but it's especially with voiceovers, I think, just because you don't see this, thankfully. All you do is hear, and you have to play, and you can play way more because I get to play a 4-year-old, and then my agents recently, I've been in the business too long, have been sending me things. She's 70, she's 80, she's 90. And the other day I was like, dudes, I know I've been around for a while, but like, and so today there were some more appropriate age ranges, but it doesn't matter. I love playing all of them, and you get to do that. So it really is improvising and playing. So I would love to help you to get more comfortable in front of your microphone in your closet. I'd love to give you ideas and references to set up whatever you would need to do if you haven't had it set up. Just give you some pointers and insider tips, and just listen to your work. And so far, the students they inspire me. So I'm happy to just help them along, all in the same vein as how Denise teaches. It's kind of the same.
We're all on the same page, guys. Okay. It's about truth and acting, period.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there you go. She said it better than me.
No acting. All right. And we got to break these bad habits, especially that comes out of community theater and children's theater. And hey, there's a place for that. Right. But to enter the real world now, you got to nip it. And so when you can get the kids into us at a younger age, we can get at it before they've developed these bad habits. It's much easier to work with an actor who has no habits than to start to break bad habits and relearn them. So I'm finding we're getting the students younger and younger, which, right, Guy? I mean, we've had a 7-year-old, and we don't like to take them under 7, but there's, it's great to start to get them. And let me just introduce Shoshana quickly. Shoshana and I have only been working together recently, and boy, have I hit it off with this young gal. So she is teaching in all of my classes with me right now. I love working with you, Shoshana. So she is teaching everything with me, and she's got a lot of training in improv, and so we bring that improv piece to everything that we do, right? Everything we do, because it is the key. It's the ballet to dance, right, Michelle?
Yeah.
The ballet to dance. So anyway, Shoshana, say a quick hello, and then we'll get started.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shoshana. I teach with Denise, and I have a big improv background. And so in the summer, when we're working on improv and sketch stuff, what's awesome is it's not only really good training, but it is tons and tons and tons of fun for the kids, and it applies to every other kind of acting. It is, we're talking about yes and, but we're also talking about things like highest intelligence. And we're getting to a place where, especially for commercials, everyone has to have some sort of familiarity with improv. And I'm very excited to work with all the kids. And
one of the programs we have introduced is Shoshana's going to be directing it, and Giselle, who's not here tonight, is my behind the scenes gal. She does all my marketing, all my managing, all the tech stuff, and she's going to produce it. She's got a big following on YouTube, and we're going to be producing a play. It's an evening of monologues. There will be auditions. It's for tweens and teens. So that's a new program, as well as my pre-college program. I don't have any of my guest faculty tonight. Michelle's going to help us with that program, but I am so excited about the pre-college program this year because I went to college with some of these guys, okay? We've trained together. And so I bring you Kenny Mitchell from USC. He heads the program. He headed the program at Tisch. Before that, he worked at the Guthrie. We've got the head of University of Michigan, Mark Madama. We've got Ithaca and Texas State. So it's a 4-day pre-college program open to any a student entering high school. So 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And that's a 4-day program, and I can answer those questions. I don't have my guests on here tonight. But let me just thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so excited to work with these. So let me take any questions for Guy or Jane quickly, because they're going to have to hop off. So if anyone wants to ask me a question, you can type in the chat box or unmute and ask your question. I think we've explained it, but you might have specifics about how that works or something specifically for Guy. Anybody about film, TV, the film and TV program?
Well, maybe we want to let the kids know exactly what to expect, like what we're going to cover. We're going to culminate with a cabaret performance where you're going to actually perform a monologue and a song for an invited audience.
Right, but Bob, that's in the cabaret, right? So
But that's the last day of the summer, right?
Yes.
So
no.
That's part of it.
Oh,
no?
yes, for the cabaret. No.
Yeah.
No. So these are all separate different programs. So guys, the film program with Guy, we're at the first week in, we only have 1 week of that this summer. So that's July 6th through the 10th. So if anybody has,
I thought this was about the Bright Lights of Broadway.
No, sorry. If anyone has specific questions for the film and TV week, we can answer that now, or when Guy pops off, I'll be able to answer it. Does anyone have any questions for Guy? You can ask.
I'll just stay frozen until.
Yeah, and if not, I know, Guy, you're in the middle of stuff, and I'll let you go, and I'll answer them. But
No worries.
yeah, here we go. Here's that questions. All right. So for film, would you be able to tape at Real Arc LA? Oh, that's right. We had gotten that question, Guy, after one of our.
Yeah, actually, I mean, if you are traveling or you will be in LA, we can set you up with your shoot in LA. The only thing is that we were going to have to cast another actor with you in your scene. And this specifically will be a scene against another young adult or a child actor. So we don't have as many co-stars that we know, but we would hold a small little audition and we'll get someone in LA for sure.
Right, because the way it works is that 2 students are paired up together. So they're 2 younger people who are under 18 specifically, although I think we were going to take up to age 23 for this go around. And so if your child is going to go shoot in LA, the other child working with your child probably won't be able to do that unless we have 2 kids from LA. And then like I said, they'll just recast that other role. We're going to cover Jen asks the daily schedule of what to expect. In the in-class program, you'll mostly be working with me. The Guy's team, Real Arc's team, will get to know your child ahead of time. We'll do sort of a mini interview ahead of time, and they will write the scene specifically for your child. So they'll come in day 1. We'll start with a table read. We'll be working on acting, breaking down the scene, the character, partnering up, learning how to work with each other. Guy will be coming on and teaching a camera class, what to expect from behind the camera, how it works from a director's eyes. And then we'll culminate. The scenes will be seen by agents and managers. And then when that week is done, if you choose the option of going to shoot your scene with Real Arc, they will schedule you to shoot your scene on, either in LA or the New York studios.
At that point, we will bring you into the pre-production process. We will give you a schedule. I'll give you a couple of options to choose from in terms of when you would like to shoot. Once you come into the studio, it's about 2 hours on set. that you will perform, or your child will perform with another actor, another person from the program. And it'll be a lot of fun. They get to see a little bit of behind the scenes. They get to work on a standing set, a professional sound stage, which is super fun.
Yeah, and we have a lot of footage on my website. We're in the middle of revamping Young Actors Film Experience. So although it is active, you can go to the Young Actors Film Experience. Is it .org, Guy, or .com?
No, it's .com.
Yeah. actorsfilmexperience.com. Please ignore the date. So we still have Orlando on there, but you will get to see some of the footage of what you can expect your scene to look like. Is it one scene film per child? You have the option of choosing 1 to 3 scenes. You'll pay per scene. So would the taping take place?
That is registered separately. So basically the way that the program would work, just to reiterate, is that you will work on a scene that we write in class with Denise for a week long. If you choose to then shoot that scene, that's something that happens completely separate. And we will make the connection, and at that point we will get into pre-production on shooting the scene. But you can actually take the program, we would still write a scene, a cinematic scene as a screenplay, and you can work on a screenplay as you would on a film, but you don't have to go and shoot it if you don't want to. But if you do want to tape, and we do obviously recommend the taping aspect of it, that's a second and a separate part.
All right, thank you. I know some people are a little confused. This is not a summer camp where you register for the whole camp. These are week-long programs. That's all it is. You register individually. Some of you are less experienced than others. And so for you newbies, any of the programs work because we will teach to the student. Okay, there's not anything where you have to audition except for the evening of monologues, and that is for placement. So otherwise, you can just choose anything that interests your child. And again, after the call, please email me personally, separately, if you have specific questions about your child. All right, Guy, I know you got to hop off. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
And
hope to see you soon.
Hope you'll see some of these kids. All right,
I'll talk to you soon.
And I know Jane's got to hop off as well. So I don't know if anyone has a specific voiceover question, but you can take Jane's class on May 31st, registered on my website if you like, and get an early taste of what Jane offers. But again, she's just going to be teaching a master class for us this summer. So if anyone has any doesn't have any voiceover questions, I'll let Jane head out too. I know you've got maybe a hot date. I don't know.
No, I have another meeting on Zoom. It's Zoom land. Anybody have any questions? I can stay another minute or two. Is there anything you want to ask? Don't all yell at once. There we go. Oh yeah. Okay, Karen.
I had a question. If my daughter's not on the call with me, but if she's a newbie, could she learn how to do the voiceover work? Is that apply it? Like, is that an option, or is it just fun to learn? Does that make sense? So if she learned how to use the voiceover work, because there's so much voiceover work right now, would she be able to submit it for things, was my question? Or is it just a fun class if we don't live in New York City, I guess is my question.
You can submit from anywhere now. I mean, it's national, if not international voiceovers. So you can submit from anywhere. And anybody can, and young kids that can pull it off are always something that somebody wants. So indeed, it's even during lockdown or whatever you want to call it, sheltering at home here, pause. Yeah, you can do it from home. Yeah, okay. You need basically a room, not like this, but you need to be in a room that the sound is dampened and with a good mic, and we'll talk about that. And absolutely.
And I think, Karen, what you might be referring to, are there opportunities? And, generally you need an agent or manager that's sending your child out. But, obviously there are open calls through Backstage, Actors Access. There are open calls where you can self-submit as well. And I will also be having an industry week. I think I forgot to mention that. January 13th, that's what Jane's going to be a part of, Industry Week, where I'll be bringing in casting directors, and Jane herself is a casting director. Has done some of that as well. I'll be bringing in casting directors, agents, managers for the industry week. So you'll get to work with and learn about opportunities like that. So that might help you there. Lori, you had a question for Jane?
Hi, Jane.
Hi,
Yes.
Lori.
Hi. Yes, I was considering enrolling my daughter in the May 31st class, and I was just curious, is this it sounds like it's an introductory class to voiceover. Um, so that's awesome. That's great because she's never done voiceover. But I'm just curious, will there be extensions of that? Like, I'm assuming that you probably need more training than just this one introductory period, correct?
Yeah, I can answer that actually. This is May 31st is a 2-hour, yes, introduction to it, as well as the masterclass over the summer. Jane and I, most likely because we've had so much response to this,
Right.
we'll be putting together something a little longer for those that want to study it on a regular basis. But that is not what we're offering at the moment. So
Perfect.
But we have had in the last ones, we've had kids that are like doing film animations and kids that hadn't done it before. And so it all meshed together because I work individually with each one during the class.
Okay.
So they all get their own level of direction, as it were.
So it's hands-on with like scenes?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
yes,
great,
exactly,
great. Okay, it sounds great.
Great.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's
Jane,
fun. It's a lot of fun.
I'm going to let you hop off, Jane, because we're going to get to all our other programs in the next half hour, and I'll see you soon. Thanks again for popping in tonight.
Thank you. And if you have any questions, send them to Denise and she'll send them to me. I'd be happy to answer them.
Great.
Bye, everyone.
Evan, you asked some questions. All the times are on my website. Now, there was an error on one of them, but all the programs are 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock, either Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday. So it's either a 4-day or a 5-day program. 10 to 3, there'll be a virtual lunch break where the kids can hang out and eat lunch together or just put their computers away. There's plenty of stretch breaks in there, and we make the kids get up and do exercises. So that's how that works. For you beginners out there, you're liking, some of you are asking, this is like above my pay grade. Yes, look, we teach to the students. So if your student is a beginner and they want, to get an introduction to voiceovers, great. They want to come into our cabaret musical theater workshop. We have all levels in there. From beginners to seasoned actors, and it works beautifully. The kids who are new learn from the other ones. The other ones we push a little, the more experienced kids we just push a little harder. So I would say find out what your daughter's passion is. If it's musical theater, then that's the week. If she wants to do film and TV, again, it's an introduction for her. So we teach to the student. So I hope that answers your question, and if not, you can email me personally about your child. All right, so any other questions about what we've talked about so far? I'll just keep moving along and open it up to our musical theater week, which Bob and Michelle will be a part of. So we just had our first cabaret, and again, virtually, and it was a great success. So the kids are craving it. So Bob, I'll let you chat.
Well, we had every technical glitch you could ever fear on our way, starting with Zoom dying. And yet we managed to put on a beautiful show with 12 dedicated, motivated, talented performers. And we had a big audience, and the kids just loved it. They did their monologue, they did their song, they got a little oral feedback. I was hosting it. Denise was putting it together, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. Everything you thought you couldn't do online, we did. And, we've been doing this summer program for the longest time, and I thought, well, how are we going to do this without standing 6 feet apart? And yet we're going to do it because it's doable. And you know what? We just make it work. I was telling somebody the other day, I watch old Westerns sometimes, and in 1880, if you wanted to tell somebody something, you had to take your horse to their house. And then suddenly you had wireless, and then you had phones, and then you had mail, and then you had email, and then you had wireless, and we had everything going. And you know what? We have made the technology come to us. And I give you a lot of credit, and we're going to have a fabulous summer program.
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions for me, Bob, or Michelle about the musical theater program, we can chat about that now, or I'll...
Yeah, I can explain one thing they have to know. They need one device for the FaceTime or the Zoom, however they connect, they need a device for that. They need a second device of some kind to play the background track. The one thing online lessons don't give us right now, and they will, believe me, they will, is the ability for two-way communication. In other words, I can't simultaneously play the piano while somebody sings. Either they won't hear me or I won't hear them. So they have to have a phone or something with them that they can play the track, and we can help them get the track. They can use the track their voice teacher gives them. I can send them a track. We can make it work. And they use the track and they do their monologue. They push go and they sing to the track, and it works beautifully.
All right. And Michelle, if, you've been teaching dance online. I see so much dance going on online.
Yes, I've been doing, I've done maybe like a handful of master classes since all of this craziness has taken place. And I will admit it does take some getting used to. Do you know what I mean? Especially for a dance class, you know. But what I've learned is that's super helpful is slowing everything down, reversing everything, you know. So I'm doing combination. I'm using my right hand. It looks to them like I'm using my left, right? So we've figured out ways where I can turn my back and I'll do it facing the back, and then I turn around and say, okay, now let's do it all together. So just like certain tricks like that we've had to figure out to make things a little bit easier. But it's just like Denise and Bob, everybody was saying, like, it's working, you know. And again, my family owns a performing arts school, and my sister is on virtual dance classes for at least 4 or 5 hours a day teaching her students, you know. So the kids are there and they're interested and they want to get up and move, you know, and they want to be involved. Yeah, we're making it work. And like Bob was saying, for my class, I'm gonna be focusing mostly on a movers kind of dance call as opposed to a dancer call. So just like a nice even space that they can move on as far as a floor, like maybe something that's not carpeted, and just some like clothes that are sporty and easy to wear.
Yeah,
I can tell you, my wife, who is not a youngster, takes 2 Zoom dance classes every day.
Good
And
for her.
she loves it. She works in a dancing school. My mother used to own a dancing school. I'm no stranger to dancing schools. And I've played piano for dancing schools. But the virtual online dancing school actually works.
It works
You
because
wouldn't think it would.
you're doing the work, right? It creates this self-discipline, but you're still doing it. So I love the dance component because we're at our computers all day long. And Shoshana and I, when we're teaching, are trying to get the kids up and moving. It's hard, but if you have to dance, it's so great because the kids need to move. So someone had asked me what the musical theater schedule is like, and when we're sticking exactly to the same schedule we always have, and where we have 2-hour blocks where we're working, either those 2 hours on monologues, we're working on the acting of the song, Bob's working on the music, and we have the ability to go into breakout rooms, which is a beautiful thing. So we can be teaching many different classes at the same time. So Bob will be in a room working on the music while, I'm in a room or Shoshana working on the acting of the piece. For dance, we have everybody together doing the dance. We try to break them up by kids or age or experience. So that's, the schedule is no different than how we've always run it. I hope I've answered your question, Meredith. So thank you.
I think they need to go to your website, DeniseSimonCoaching.com, and check the schedule, because it may be a little confusing which week is which and which
we're throwing
film and voiceover and musical theater. Just check the schedule out. If you have any question, contact Denise, contact me, contact any of the other teachers, and we will be glad to answer very quickly.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you meet some of the teachers and let you know that we know what we're doing, and we're able to teach in this way. Okay, that's really what I wanted to get through tonight. You have very specific questions. A lot more is on the website, the schedule, the time, the price, the week. And then of course you can shoot me an email or to talk about your child specifically. So, I'll open it up to any questions at this point for anybody. I know someone just got on. Kristen, was that you? I can't see on the second page all the people that are there. So, um, uh, so
Well, somebody did ask for songs and monologues. Do you help pick out? Generally speaking, what happens is you take a song that the student is comfortable singing, and Denise will help pick a monologue that complements that song. Then, when we do the class, I work mostly on the music, Denise works on the acting, we work on the monologue, and we put it together into one cohesive product for the cabaret.
and if there's a song and your child obviously, doesn't have a book yet, or they need help choosing, of course, look, Jenna's done, I'm sure she's got a ton of songs. So, we'll talk about what's going to work for that particular week, what they want to do for the casting director, what they want to do for the performance. Do they want to work on something completely new? That's fine, but something they're comfortable, that they know coming in, and then we go the distance with it, right?
Absolutely.
Changing to a new age group, I don't know what that means. You can unmute, Kristen.
Thank you. She's changing to a new age group. So some of the songs, or we see what other people are doing, and I'm like, no, you can't sing that song. So it's kind of,
we'll be right on that. So
and she's always told what to sing. Like, so we always, and now they're like, no, you pick a song, and we're like, what? Well, so it's all new.
Age appropriateness of the lyric is very important. And certainly in the teenage years, things change. It becomes a time when you have outgrown your Annie orphan days.
I
going
know.
to 13 days, and there becomes a time when your 13 days are over and you're with your Heather's days, and then it becomes a time when you're a young adult and then an adult, and it happens. It has to make sense, it has to be logical, and it has to be believable.
And that's it. Again, remember, our philosophy, or all of us, it's about the truth. And we have to believe what they're doing, is believable. And, for kids to do, stuff for Hamilton, I know they love that, but to honestly be able to really connect with something that is out of their range won't really work for most of the programs. In a cabaret, sometimes we let them do stuff for fun, we make it work. But if there's no way they're going to be able to connect with it, it's not going to work. They can do it in their talent show, but it won't work for what we're trying to do. So we'll guide them in there.
Also in the professional world, there may be different requirements than for our requirements. We want them to perform in a believable, logical, and professional way. When you audition for an agent or a casting director, it may be different requirements, and we have to be ready for those.
Thank you. All right. Well, any other questions? Burning questions?
I just want to say I've been teaching young people since my first young person came to me in 1977 when I was doing Annie on Broadway. And I have seen the results of age, puberty, growth, and every other situation happen. And we just have to be flexible, and we have to be believable, and we have to go with the flow and make things work. And I think it's doable.
Someone's asking me about our class size. So those of you who work with me know that I have small class sizes.
Absolutely.
We can't work in a huge group to give individualized attention. However, that being said, we have taken 20 kids in our Bright Lights, but we break them up into 2 groups. So it's 2 classes. Even though we may take 20, it's 10 in each age range. So, you're working with a group of 8 to 10 kids, 8 to 12 kids usually. That's sort of the sweet spot, 8 to 12. So that you can, really get the individualized attention that's needed.
And there are plenty of classes and plenty of cabarets and plenty of showcase classes that profess to give individual attention, but they have 30 people up there. You can't give individual attention that way. You have to have breakout rooms, and we make sure we have enough time for each student to really do what they need to do.
And because we keep our class sizes small, they do fill up. Most of my classes get
Right.
sold out pretty quickly. People trying to get into my classes during the year get sold out very quickly because, you know, we don't take that many spots. So look, we're just starting now. You know, if you wait till the last minute, I can't say there's going to be room, but there's no telling. I don't know how to answer that, but yes, most of our classes do fill up. Yes.
You're gonna unmute me. Hi, so good to see you, Denise. So Ava's obviously going into the 9th grade, and of course it feels like college is so far away, but obviously it isn't. So is a college prep class good for an incoming freshman for next year?
It's, you know what, not for any incoming freshman, for a serious,
Yes.
mature, hardworking incoming freshman. Okay. It's a fabulous, look, I do tons of college coaching. All right. 10th grade, you know, and 9th grade is not too early to talk about it. Okay. So to start to, you know, for 4 days to work with the heads of these programs, look, what are you working on? You know, how to put over a musical, you know, a song, a monologue, dance. It's all the same stuff. You're just working with different professors and learning what college is all about. So it's that's why I've opened it up to incoming freshmen. Am I going to let anybody in there? No. It really is something where we're going to have a discussion and make sure your child is, you know, serious enough to want to be in there and do the work. Did I answer your question?
Also, the important thing also about any
Bob, hold on
audition,
one second.
especially,
Wait, Bob,
oh,
hold
sorry.
on. I just
No,
want to.
no, I think so. I think, you know, this one is pretty serious.
Yeah, no, she'd be fine in there. I mean, are some of these kids getting ready to go off and do their auditions? Yes. Are some of them just, you know, beginning? If she thinks she wants to go to college for theater or musical theater, again, she's going to get, and I'm going to be teaching some of the classes as well. I mean, again, it's bringing in guest artists to give another perspective on what's happening, and, you know, at in an early age to start to understand a little bit about the college academia, if you will, process. So we can have a private chat about it if you'd like, before signing her up, if you're considering it. Laura, you wanted to know about Industry Week. So Industry Week, you know, every now and then, as you know, I'll collaborate with a casting director. I pretty much do all the teaching and then bring them in for a session after they've worked with me and one of my colleagues like Bob or Baydeen or her, and have the casting director work with them. In this particular week, again, I'll be doing a lot of the teaching. Shoshana will be doing some of the teaching, and I'll be bringing in individual teachers to teach individual classes of their expertise. I have Adrienne Stern coming in. She's an indie film casting director. She'll be doing a class on auditioning for a film, in independent films primarily. Mary Sugarman, of course, is so brilliant, from Tara Rubin, and we'll be doing her master class on, of course, acting the song and auditioning for Broadway, you know, for professional musical theater. Allison Frank will be teaching. And so again, the teachers will be coming in and just teaching, you know, in their expertise. So you'll just get a little flavor of lots of different teachers. I'll be having some agents and managers come in, and you know, some of them are teachers and some of them are not, right? So it's not like I'm gonna let the teaching happen with them, but let them conduct a Q&A or you know, a commercial class for them, what they're looking for, what they look for. So people from all ends of the industry coming in that week so that they get a real flavor of working with an agent, a manager, casting director, you know, voiceover artist, choreographer, that kind of thing. It's just a smattering. And all the while, you know, making sure that the work that they're doing is grounded, of course, and that it's coming from truth, and that, you know, I have a hand in all of it, you know, or Shoshana, who will be with me in a lot of the programs as well. So I hope I've answered that question, Lori.
Thank you.
Okay. So, I mean, I think so many of you on the call have taken classes with me or Bob, so you know how we work. And it's not going to be much different than what we do, right? It's just done virtually. And if anyone has not had their child do classes virtually yet, again, it is different because you're in a, look at everybody right now. We see them shoulders up. Now, it doesn't mean we can't see their whole body, but a lot of the work is done, except for Michelle's work as a dancer. You're probably, they're a little further away, right, Michelle? So you're seeing their whole body. I mean, we work very close up, especially with film and TV when we're singing, so we can really see what's going on facially. But I would say even in dance, you want to see what's going on. Michelle, are you there? I don't know if you got frozen. Oh, I think she did get frozen. But even in dance, and Michelle will speak about that, it's the storytelling also and what is going on here. So we do work in a very close, tight-knit way virtually, as opposed to being able to see the whole body. So I think that is a little different. But Shoshana and I have been really coming up with so many fun exercises that we're making up and that are working on Zoom, scenes for Zoom only. They have this whole world they're creating. And I know some of your kids are in plays that are being written for Zoom now, where people go into breakout rooms and they get lost and there's a murder mystery going on. And we're getting really creative with the kind of programming that we offer. And so some of the improv that we're coming up with has been really fun in this format.
And some of the improv has adjusted very well, so we're able to do a lot of the classic stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think educators have really had to step up right now and find a way to be more creative, to give value right now in this world. And again, we don't know what's going to happen in the fall. There are some colleges that are preparing for a virtual fall. So, and many of the performing arts. I mean, I did recently a panel on education, and I had Kenny Mitchell on the panel at USC speaking about, doing Shakespeare, and he's got all of the boxes turned off. It's just the video turned off and just the audio turned on. And so we're really working closer with the spoken word and the poetry. And so we're adjusting. We've had to adjust. So we're teaching differently in this format. But I can assure you, your child will walk away, okay, with an understanding of the craft of what we're teaching. And some of you, Kristen and Lori, your kids have been doing these programs and you can speak about it. Has your kid grown? Has your child grown?
Hi. Absolutely. I mean, Denise, she's been with you for 6 months now, I'd say, a little bit longer than that. And I just can look back and remember you having a private with her. And we actually did that on FaceTime because of remember there was that huge winter storm that popped up in December. And I remember listening to Taylor and I was like, this is not for her. She should stick. She was a competitive dancer for everyone. Very, very competitive dancer. And she said, nah, this is what I want to do now. I watched her come over to Denise and going to work out. And just in the quarantine, we've been, taking so many classes. Denise has been like really working so hard with Taylor and all the kids. And she did the thing with Bob recently, the cabaret. And I've seen such growth. I'm like amazed by her growth. And a lot of it has been through quarantine all online. And she even feels so confident. She says to me, Ma, I'm so much more confident now than I was. And I attribute that, to the programs you've set up. And we really have seen so much progress. And I know, Lori, you feel the same way too.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to ditto everything Kristen said, but most importantly is that this hasn't really taken away from their growth and their skill sets that they're gaining and learning. I mean, at first, you think you want to be in person and you want to touch and feel people, but I have seen, we've taken advantage of the situation of the downtime by enrolling in more classes. And this is like opportunities that we would never have been able to do if we weren't in quarantine, because now I don't have to travel to the city. I'm not spending that hour back and forth. So now Natalie my daughter is able to enroll in more classes. This is really, it's been kind of a blessing in disguise.
Well, yeah, there are a lot of those little nuggets in there. So Michelle got bumped off before, and Michelle, I was talking to you and you were frozen. I thought you just weren't answering me. What we're talking about, thank you ladies for sharing, your kids. It has been beautiful to watch their growth. And again, I will go back to this sort of hyper disciplined focus and of doing the same thing over and over again, which is why, of course, they are growing. Michelle, we were talking about one of the differences teaching virtually, we're in these small boxes. And so we're working very close up, which works beautifully for film. So for dance, I don't know where you place them, but you want to see their whole body, but you also, of course, are very fixated on what's going on here because it is about the storytelling, right?
Right, that's right. It's all about creating a character through the movement, especially when you're working with a musical theater program. So we will be doing a lot of back and forth. What I've been doing with students is, I'll back up, and I teach my class in a studio. So there is room and they can see everything that I am doing and that they need to see. But every time that we need to discuss something about personality, face, or even some of the movement, I have all the kids come up to the front, to the cameras. So it's like we're in a big huddle talking, and then we back on up and we do our movement. So it is a lot of back and forth, and it's good though, because it makes us all feel connected as we possibly can.
And that's the other thing, guys. I mean, look, I know you want programming for your children, and you will have it for them because everybody is going to work virtually this summer. This summer camps have, many of them, the performing arts camps are putting out virtual programs. So there is a lot of programming out there. And maybe too much right now. And where do you go and what to do? The only thing I can tell you is that, we work so closely with your child. Obviously, I've got, seasoned veterans working with your children. We're not, just coming out of college. And so there's a lot of value there. You can take advantage of different programming all summer because I have just week-long programs. You could do a week here, a week with someone else. But I have enough programs that are so different that I'm hoping kids will, maybe take a few different programs. And there's still weeks left to do some other programming as well. But again, I'm happy to answer any of your individual questions about your individual child. You can just shoot me an email and I'll get back to you. We are now, as the spring is finishing, we've got a few more classes left in our spring semester for the regular classes. And then Jane and I are finishing up with voiceover and dialects at the end of May. And then I'm taking a few weeks off in June because I'm working harder than I ever have. And then we'll gear up for the summer beginning at the end of June. And then, hopefully we'll all be back in the fall, but if not, we know how to go to this default mode really well now. And again, I'm so thankful to be working with all of you, my colleagues here, because that is something new that we're all working much closer than ever right now. And so I can, have my colleague from California get on the program with me now. So that's, again, there are some, I don't know, call it silver lining or what we look for in all of this, but a lot of people just don't like to commute and travel, and there is a lot of peace in that you can work from home. But I will tell you that in this work, and we're sticklers about it, they have to show up dressed, they have to sit in a chair, and Shoshana's a big circle, and get out of your rolly chair. No
swivel chairs.
I mean, show up, and we can see everything you're doing, and the kids are making funny faces and eating, and it's unacceptable. And so, again, there is a discipline. You must have a discipline to enter this industry. And so, the kids are called out on it. But again, these kids are great. They're professionals. They come to our classes because they're willing and wanting to do the work and up their game. And I think that's what this is all about. It's about, do you want to up your game, right? The programs that I teach with my colleagues are really an opportunity to up your game. And I know Ariana and Antoinette, Ariana's new to all this, but again, Taylor came to us brand new, Natalie came new, and the growth, it's there. We will teach to the individual student, and they will grow. They will grow. So we have a few minutes. If anyone has any last questions for me or any of my esteemed colleagues here. If not, you guys are free to shoot me an email. Registration's already up on the website, denisesimoncoaching.com. There were a few little typos in there, especially with Industry Week. So that is not 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. I don't know how that happened. But all the programs are 10 to 3 with a lunch break in there. And that is a 4-day program, not a 5-day program. Giselle's going to fix that tonight. Yes, Lori.
What's the evening of monologues that you mentioned?
Yes. Shoshana, you want to talk about that?
I would love to talk about that. So the evening of monologues is actually a whole week almost of work that culminates finally in an evening, a bit of a play that will be broadcast on Giselle Foster's YouTube, I believe. So Giselle Foster does a lot of the behind the scenes stuff for Denise, but she is also, besides Denise, my other favorite co-teacher. She is really fantastic. She has an incredible experience in marketing and as a result has a pretty decent social media following. So when we do this evening of monologues and we do it through Giselle, these kids are going to get quite a bit of views and a lot of people are going to see it, which we're really excited about. And that is an opportunity that we wouldn't have had if we were all meeting in person. So there will be an audition involved. And after the audition, we are going to have several days of prepping these kids, talking about monologue choice, talking about finding the truth, what they want, really.
We'll be providing the monologues. There will be a through line, like it's an evening of gratitude and hope, and it will have a through line. Originally, we were going to produce Jane Martin's play Talking With, but some of the monologues in there are written for, 70 and 80-year-old women, and we want this to very much be for tweens and teens. And so we're going to be handpicking the different pieces and put them together for an evening of monologues that will have a through line.
And what's fantastic is it's basically a showcase for the kids, but also if you look around right now, there's never been a bigger call for people doing monologues on tape. It's a great way to work on technique without the kids realizing they're working on really solid technique. Yeah, it's a really great showcase for them. And I'm very excited about it. Giselle is very excited about it. And it's going to be an intensive week that culminates in something that's hopefully really exciting for the kids.
Excellent.
Well, thank you all. I'm going to say goodnight and ask you to, invite you to follow up with me with any specific questions. Again, go to the website. You can grab all the links there. And if you're not sure if a program is right for your child or you need more information, of course, reach out to me. So thank you all for coming up tonight. Thank you, Bob and Shoshana, Jane, Michelle, Guy, who stepped off for saying hello to everybody. It's nice to put a face, of course. I've recorded this, so if anybody missed the beginning and they need it, I'll get it uploaded to my little YouTube and send you the link. So enjoy the beautiful weather that we're having. My daughter graduated from college yesterday virtually, so we're celebrating all week. Yeah. So thank you again, everybody. And I'll see you soon, hopefully in a virtual class.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.